In the first of two in a row against the Bucks, the Raptors go into Milwaukee and win. Fred VanVleet was huge after Kyle Lowry leaves with an ankle injury. 124-113. The Raptors record now 13-15 on the season. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Raptors Nightcap. Randy Urban alongside Sherman Hamilton, Paul Jones, and Leo Routens. Fellas, it seems like after a game that they played last time against the Timberwolves, a team that they should beat, they always come out a little bit more focused after that. Is that fair to say? Leo, we'll start with you.
Well, I think you could look at any good team, right? You lose a game you're not supposed to lose. You're going to come back with a little bit more inspiration, a little bit of anger, a little bit of everything, because they know the game against Minnesota shouldn't have happened. It shouldn't have played out the way it did, and they let one slip. And it's a game that you hope doesn't come back to haunt you at another point in time. But all you can do after a game like that is come back and do what they did in this game. And this was a complete game from start to finish. At the beginning of this game, I felt like I was watching a Brooklyn game, a team that just was determined, a team that had a game plan, a team that played strong together. It was an impressive win.
Jonesy, definitely a different energy from the go, right?
Yeah, I agree with Leo. And you talk about that, it's when a team loses, the coach has their attention. Sometimes you might get a win and it didn't go well, and the players can, coach, we got this, we won. But this is a different animal in that sense. That you're right. And as Leo said, you hope that Minnesota game doesn't come back to haunt them, but it got their attention. They knew they were going to have to be better tonight. I thought their offense did a good job of keeping them in the game for the first three quarters. And the defense showed up in the fourth quarter. They hold Milwaukee to 8 of 22 with 5 turnovers. The only quarter in the game when they held their shooting under 50%, including 1 for 11 in the last 5:36. And the offense continued to roll. And I thought they did a really nice job in closing it out. They're very, very workmanlike going down the stretch, getting good shots, and guys being very careful with the ball.
Sure. Let's expand on that a little bit. We've seen the Raptors in the past this season, buckle a little bit down the stretch. And we didn't see that. They were very determined, very pointed down the stretch tonight.
Well, they were. And talking about the end of the floor that they can have the most control, and that's the defensive side of the floor, right? And I thought they were very consistent on that side, down the stretch especially. And it's a bit of a different mix. I mean, although Milwaukee's a good basketball team, when you can pack the paint and you can kind of show Giannis bodies in, you could take clips from that fourth quarter where Giannis was looking at a wall of black jerseys sometimes when he was trying to attack. And you can stay close enough and connected enough to still get to shooters. Milwaukee kind of gets stagnant. They become very predictable. And I thought the Raptors forced Milwaukee into predictable offensive sets. They didn't give them the chance to swing the ball side to side. They made sure they stayed in front, and they did a good job of being an extended defense that didn't give those quick passes to the three-point line. So it was good to see the Raptors defend at a high level consistently in the fourth quarter. And the messaging going forward, if you're Nick Nurse, is, hey, listen, the offense, it had some good moments and bad moments, but the defense is what really got down and dirty and got this team to win in the fourth quarter.
Randy, Sherm has a line that he uses, and I love it, where he says, don't overreact to things that happen. And early on, Connaughton, DiVincenzo were making shots, and now they didn't change the game plan. We're going to, you got it going in the first half. That's good. We're going to see if you can keep it going at the end of the game. And we're going to continue to show Giannis the wall and make you guys make shots to beat us. And I thought the Raptors did a good job of sticking with the game plan. And as I said, to me, it paid off in the fourth quarter.
Nice to know Sherm has one good line. So.
Oh,
boy, it's on.
The Raptors get a win, Herbs. Can we just have a good night as a group? Like, can we
that's
just
what I'm trying
behave?
to do, man.
No hostility, man. No hostility.
Leo, they went small, which is, if you were out there, you'd probably have to sit on the bench. I'm coming at you guys.
Wow.
I'm sorry.
Wow. He gets a weird haircut and thinks he's special now.
Hey.
Leo, what did you make of the small ball lineup to start?
Well, everybody knows that that's their best lineup. There's no secret to that. And, in the small picture, the numbers verify it. But here's the reality of it. It's a great lineup. Can do a lot of good things. You can do a lot of switching. You have just a lot of positives, but you can't fry yourself playing that lineup, right? You still have to get something from your bench. You still have to get something from your bigs, even though you're playing small. As an example, I thought Aaron Baines did a good job in this game. Defensively, did a lot of good things, scored a couple of buckets, rolling to the basket. You're going to need that if you're going to play small ball. Otherwise, you're going to fry these guys, and you're not going to have anything left for the end of the season. So you have to temper your excitement for it and the good things that come from it, as long as you don't burn guys out trying to do it. And I think that's been a big concern of the coaches. And Milwaukee does have bigs, but they don't necessarily hurt you with their bigs. There's some teams in this league are going to hurt you with their bigs at the basket, and you got to be prepared for those games when you're in the small ball mode.
And to add to what Leo's saying, at the end of the day, if you're going to go with that small lineup, got to remember Pascal's going to have to defend the biggest body on the floor. You don't want Pascal taking that beating in the beginning of games. You don't want him to potentially get into foul trouble. So to Leo's point, you got to kind of balance that small lineup and not run it out there too much, because Pascal is the lone big, and I use air quotes, big body out there that's going to have to bang and play down low on the box defensively sometimes. So you got to really manage that well.
Randy, to the point that both Leo and Sherman, I thought the Raptors did a good job early in the game where, and we talk about this, it's like when a guy has, 5 fouls and you say, go at him. Well, when you go at him, you break your regular offensive flow to try and get that guy out of the game. And I thought early on, they tried to go to Lopez. He turned the ball over the first 2 or 3 trips. And I thought, if Milwaukee's going to try to, this is almost inviting them, if they're going to try to exploit this smaller lineup by going to Lopez and going at Toronto, it may take them out of their regular flow. And I thought Toronto got off to a good start before Milwaukee kind of found its footing. So just something that got in their head. And as these guys said, the small lineup can do it for a little while. You can't depend on it all the time. But I like the way the defense came around in the fourth quarter.
Leo, is there a chance that the elevated level of focus is tied to that small ball lineup to start? Like, do they know that, okay, we're going to really have to bear down here because, we might be outmatched in size?
No, I think Nick Nurse made the point in pregame. He said, look, we can have all the schemes we want. It really doesn't make any difference unless you execute, do everything you're supposed to do. Everybody's locked in. Because he said, even if you're not playing small ball, he goes, the core of this team the core of the starters are still the most experienced players on this team. So everybody's got to be locked in on whatever the game plan is. And in a game like today, and he also said that what happens is the second unit really plays off the first unit, right? So if the first unit's locked in, the second unit usually picks up on that. We saw against Minnesota, the first unit wasn't locked in. The second unit wasn't locked in. So I think it really comes down to, regardless of who that 5 is. Now, it just happens that the small ball 5 is your most productive, but whoever it is has to still be in that mode. At offense, defense, clicking, communicating, and working together. Otherwise, like I said, it really doesn't matter who you put out there.
To your point on the second unit, Leo, I thought Aaron Baines did a nice job in limited minutes tonight, setting screens. He was active on the glass. He was taking charges. He seemed to be in the right spot, and he finished a couple times around the basket. I thought he gave them really, really valuable minutes, a couple of key deflections that led to runouts for Toronto.
I agree, Jones. He was solid.
Yeah, and maybe it's the limited minutes for him, Sherm. Maybe that's it. They found a niche for him, but I thought he did a really good job tonight in the time that he was in the game.
Sherm, obviously OG made it back to the lineup today. Just assess his play.
I liked what I saw, and again, when a guy misses that much games, there's an expectation of rust and maybe, his rhythm is a bit off. Maybe his wind is down, but I thought OG looked very good. And, considering the role he has to play, he didn't get, that running start. He was just thrown into the fire against Giannis Antetokounmpo and had to defend him. And I thought he was solid. And again, this team around OG as a defender is a different looking team. So I just like the fact that he's back. I like the fact that he had impact in this game on both sides of the basketball. And hopefully now they can get back to a more consistent flow if Kyle is healthy with the group that's going to be playing together for a while. they haven't had that chance in a while to have that group together consistently. So hopefully Kyle gets back and OG stays healthy.
Yeah, Leo, Kyle was having a great game there before he exited. 18 points, just another game as part of a real nice string he's put together. But we're seeing this more often than not now when he does go down or when he exits for whatever reason. Fred's really stepping up and relishing that role.
Well, let's not forget, in my opinion, when I think of the Toronto Raptors, I think of both of them being an all-star backcourt. Fred hasn't gotten the all-star nod. Kyle has, but, his performance in the absence of Kyle has been at an all-star level. So I think the Raptors are very fortunate. And the reality is that's the strength of this team, those two guys. So, ideally Kyle gets back soon. You don't want to really have to play the second game against Milwaukee without Kyle. He really did help this team get off to a great start. Hopefully he's going to be okay because he matters a great deal and with all the intangibles.
Under a minute, Jonesy. Fred, an all-star in your mind?
Yes. Look, when Kyle got hurt last year, Fred was an all-star. There just wasn't enough time for that to be extended because Kyle came back and Fred graciously went back into role. But right now, Randy, yeah, I see them, as Leo said, as an all-star backcourt. And look, I know all-star voting is like the beauty contest, the popularity contest. Let's see who the coaches vote for, because that, to me, that will be interesting to see if Fred or Kyle or anybody makes it that way.
All right. Despite the shade, Sherm, you're my all-star of the group. Oh. So I just wanted to tell you that today, just so we don't have any issues going forward. Okay.
You're flipping and flopping like a fish out of water right now, man.
Hey guys,
pathetic suck up right there. Pathetic suck up.
Leo, you're gone. All right.
Wow. Cancel Leo? You can't cancel Leo. What's wrong with you?
All right, guys. I'll see you next time.
It's okay. Time to make a few phone calls, Sherm. It's all right. Go ahead. Keep
Word. Get on the horn, Leo.
All right.
See you next time.
Okay, big time.
Thanks for watching. You can click to watch our last episode or to subscribe to the Toronto Raptors YouTube channel so you don't miss an episode.